Hey everybody! Welcome to our E3 video. I don't know if this will go up first or second. I'm pretty sure this goes up first, but we're going to talk about the Xbox conference.
Special edition. I picture like a special news bulletin. Like
Newsroom.
This just in.
What? This just in, like several hours ago. Late breaking news.
I mean, I feel like we're pretty close. I
yeah,
think we're close
EA's
now.
conference was yesterday as of when we're recording this. We're recording this Sunday night, just before Bethesda's conference. But we want to do some videos and kind of recap what we saw at EA and kind of dialogue about it and give you guys a chance to comment and tell us what you thought about it. So coming up first, out of Xbox's conference, the Xbox One X. That is the official name of Xbox Project Scorpio.
Yep.
It is now the One X.
I was really concerned that the entire conference was going to be about Project Scorpio.
I was a little bit worried about that.
I was also correct, though.
Yeah. There's a lot of, gonna look great on the Scorpio.
The
X.
We really started in with like, it must have been like 10 or 15 minutes of the presentation at the beginning was talking about the Scorpio. They had like a 3-minute video showing the motherboard of it, right? And showing like the intricacies of
the Scorpio engine.
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's just, okay, that's fine. You know, it's the thing to remember here is that the PS4 Pro was revealed at like a game developer thing in a much more technical briefing. So it was going to be different, and so
it was revealed in a
fine.
conference room.
They did it fine. I just was worried that they were going to talk about it way too much, and of course they did.
Yeah, it was fine. November 7th release date worldwide.
We'll get to the price point later.
We'll do like they did, and we'll just do it at the end of the whole podcast.
Yes.
Because that's how you know it's going to be good. But specs we've known about: 6 teraflop GPU, clocked at 1.172 gigahertz, 12 gigabytes GDDR5, 32 gigabytes per second memory bandwidth, true 4K, all this mess, Dolby Atmos, 4K HD Blu-ray.
So if we're gonna compare some of that to PS4 Pro, because I know that's a logical question, teraflops were right at like 4.2, 4.5, something like that. It's got 8 gig of DDR5. And it's got 218 gig per second of memory bandwidth, whereas this is at 326. It's just different technology.
It's like a 30% step down or something like that. I think.
Yeah, it's
we
about
talked about this on a
30%
podcast several weeks ago.
So, which makes sense. It's a year plus since PS4. Has it been a year plus? No, it's been 7 or 8 months.
Yeah.
By the time Xbox One X comes out, we're going to be a year separated. We would expect a performance gain. That's fine.
Yep.
So it's got all the typical things you know it's gonna have. It's gonna have those 4K Blu-rays that the Xbox One S already has, HDR, wide color gamut, all that great stuff.
Yep. All your Xbox One accessories will work with the One X, which is nice. I'm glad they didn't put out new hardware to match it. It makes sense.
I'm sure they'll put out
way.
new stuff for it, but it's like you could still bring your old stuff.
Yeah, but like imagine like you invested so much in your Pro controller, like you got like a scuff. You bought a custom Pro controller that was like $200 some odd, and they're like, oh, it doesn't work with the One X.
Yes,
it does. So that was a good idea. Good on them. Has improvements for 1080p with super sampling, which I thought was a cool idea to address. And I think we talked about PS4 Pro did address it as well. It just didn't stick out of my brain as much.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
This they did a really good job of like, and if you have a 1080p TV, don't worry, it up-reses that and it looks really good in 1080p. And I'm like, oh, that's a good plug right there for somebody that maybe doesn't know or care.
Isn't going to buy into 4K.
But if they don't know or care,
you're just
probably not going to buy the One X.
So craftsmanship, which this stuff is more interesting to me because I'm a tech guy.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd. So 16 nanometer processor, it's insane. Like these transistors 5-10 years ago used to be much bigger. It's 7 billion transistors. That's mind-boggling. 384-bit memory. 384-bit wide memory bus. This is stuff we see on desktop GPUs. We don't see this in consoles. Like, we just don't. You don't have the need for it, and that's why they're doing a liquid-cooled vapor chamber.
That I thought was super cool.
It's super cool, but it's also super necessary.
Yeah.
Because the amount of stuff they're sticking into this small thing, it's now the smallest Xbox ever. Even smaller than the Xbox One S. If you look at it.
And the power brick is still inside.
Yeah, it's impressive. Like it's very good hardware, and so you have to have the liquid cool because there's no space for a ton of fans. There's no space for a lot of ventilation and things like that. It's small. It was a good move to do, but it's an expensive move. That's all there is to it.
How expensive, you may ask?
You'll see. All right, the price.
You drove my transition. I am now at a loss for what to do.
How expensive is it, Jake?
It is $499.
Yep.
So $500 and some change after tax. In your state.
It's true. Unless you get it online, maybe.
Unless you get it online, but where do you buy it online that doesn't charge sales tax anymore?
Yeah, these days.
Like that's a thing of the past.
So price comparison. If we're gonna talk about price point, I was a little concerned. PS4 Pro released at $400. Right now, you can get bundles out there, I believe, for $400. The Xbox One S right now is on sale for this week. They're having a $50 drop on the bundles. So on Microsoft website right now until June 17th, you can get the Xbox One S with Forza Horizon for $249 for the 500 gig model, and then the 1 terabyte's $300. Good price. That's a great price for an entry level console. Does 4K Blu-rays, HDR. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
But now you pay double for the Xbox One X. So I don't know. How do you feel about it? What do you think?
I just think it's a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Like just doing like so. If we stick with the theory that it's 30% better than the Xbox or the PlayStation 4 Pro,
Yeah.
technically it's not 30% more expensive.
Mhm.
It'd be it'd be $550.
Yeah.
So
it's-
okay, we shoot shy by $50. But the problem is you put out a console that at the end of the day just has better load times than the PS4 Pro for $100 more for a console that's already on the market, has exclusive games.
Yeah.
And just it has a little bit better gaming behind it right now as far as exclusivity goes,
Right.
especially in a world where Microsoft is not Xbox exclusive stuff anymore. It's Play Anywhere,
Right.
which is cool. Microsoft's not losing any money to itself,
Mhm.
but it's just like, okay, why would I pay $500 for a lot of these games that I want to play that are on either PC or on both consoles when I could pay $400 or spend a little bit more because I want to get the better graphical fidelity and performance out of a PC.
Right. And so that's kind of the distinguishing factor, right? Is really like what's the break even? It's the same concern we have with PS4
Yeah.
Pro. This is not like an anti-Xbox thing. Like
Not at all.
we're interested in
We
this.
had these
'cause of
same
the-
complaints about the Pro.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was pretty much the same.
yeah, it's the same thing. It's that if you're going, who are they marketing it to? That's my question.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to push 4K gaming, right? And yeah, it's going to work for 1080p TVs, but people with 1080p TVs, I'm going to spoil this for you. You're not going to go out and buy a $500 console. You're not.
No.
Like that's not going to happen. It's just not reasonable. Now, the people that have 4K TVs, yeah, this seems great. I really think that that's a super strong console, like hardware wise. But is it worth the extra $100? It's like, well, if you just spent $200 or $300 more, you could have the same on a PC, right? If you have some of the things, or if you already have a monitor sitting at home,
Yeah, if you got some stuff laying around.
yeah, you could get the same things for just a little bit more. And then the rub is that their games that are coming out, we're going to talk about those here in a minute, are almost all of them are on Xbox and PC. So
Everything is
which is it. The Play
Yeah.
Anywhere thing is cool because
it is really
buy
cool.
it once,
We
play it in
harp
two
on it a
places.
lot, or we have in past topics, and I'm sure it will come up this time. That it's like there's no such thing as Xbox exclusive anymore
Mhm.
because everything that goes for Xbox also goes for Windows 10, which yes plays into the kind of the fanboy arguments of, well, PlayStation 4 has exclusives. Yeah, it does, but also can't play those anywhere. Kind of can.
Right.
Remote play still has input lag. I'm not gonna go play Anthem
Right.
on
No,
remote
that's
play.
true. Yeah, and so it's just a weird, like the price point makes it worse. I think if this is a $400 console, then I think it's a better sell. I think
Yeah.
you can sell me on it.
I agree.
Getting rid of like the talk about the exclusive games and stuff like that. The swing for me on this is the true 4K versus the checkerboard that the PS4 Pro sometimes uses. There are games that run native 4K on the PS4 Pro, but not all of them do because
Yeah.
that's really hard to do on the specs they have at that price point. What Xbox is saying here and what Microsoft is talking about is true 4K, native 4K. There's no upscaling, there's no, super sampling or anything like that. We're talking actual 4K every game. Like that's, that says 4K.
Which
on
is
it.
awesome.
That's really great. And for the specs that you're getting, it should be like that.
Yeah.
There's no reason to go to those specs and not have native 4K. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for. It's a great looking console, but what's the benefit over the Xbox One S, for example? Xbox One S plays stuff just as well as the original Xbox One, but it adds HDR and it adds your 4K Blu-ray drive.
Yeah.
And you can do 4K streaming like on Netflix and things like that. So is the $250 difference right now worth it just for 4K gaming? That's it. That's what you bring to the table
Yeah.
that is not there with the Xbox One S, and I don't see it.
I just don't think it's the same. And I think, like on that cell, like if you put out the One X
Mhm.
in the world where the Pro exists right now and say it's $400 in the console wars,
Mhm.
$400, and it's better than that one.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you sold me. all right, I can pay the same thing, but I can get a better console with that one. But now it's like, this one's $500, this one's $400. Step behind that one is $250. Step behind that one is also $250. But
Right.
well, there you go, right there. The 1S versus the PlayStation 4 Slim.
Yeah.
Same price, 1S, way better console.
Yeah.
Like,
Agreed.
significantly better consoles.
If
It's like
just for the 4K. Like
Yeah.
HDRs went out to all PS4s, so we could do HDR on ours. That's great. Xbox One S adds that 4K Blu-ray. I don't think we're going to continue to see physical media doing 4K. That's a topic for another day.
Yep.
But that would be a cool thing to have in there because
Yeah.
then I could expand my movie collection while that's still an option. And I get that down the line, like that's going to go away and we're going to have a lot different media consumption. But for me, the big oversight with Sony's PS4 is they made the Slim come out and then the PS4 Pro. They didn't add the 4K Blu-ray drive. Xbox has it in both of their consoles,
which
right
is
now.
weird because Sony owns Blu-ray.
Yeah. it
Again,
is.
something we've talked about before, something we'll get into now. But
Yeah.
what we will get into now is games.
Yes.
For the rest of this conference, we saw games.
I was impressed.
which
They
is
have
such
not
a great move.
They've not done this in years past, right? We think about the Xbox One wonderful, awesome E3 debut that was so terrible.
Horrible,
And then
horrible.
you've seen them, turn the focus away from games to other things that could do. It seems like we're a far cry from that. I mean, if you remember, one of the Xbox One's big selling point was to be able to you had your TV pinned over here and you could play games over here and it would everything would run through that and that's not like a thing that they talk about anymore.
Yeah. So we had 42 featured games, 22 console exclusive, not Xbox exclusive necessarily, console exclusive games. So to lead the show, and we'll get into this a little bit, Forza Motorsport 7. So the presentation of it was really cool. Forza always looks good, runs native 4K at 60 frames per second, releases on October 3rd. But they also revealed the new 2018 Porsche 911 GT2 RS on stage. First time to the world outside of Porsche, which is super cool.
It's really
At
cool.
the same time, who's going to buy it that was at E3 or
I
watched
just don't.
E3?
I don't get the draw with that. Like, it's cool. It's a really unique thing. It's cool.
I'm not
to see
knocking them for doing it.
to see like a Porsche Forza relationship, but why? Like, what's the end goal here? People that are playing Forza are not going to suddenly rush out and buy a Porsche,
Yeah.
right? The people that are buying Porsches are going to buy them anyways. They're not doing it because they're playing video games with that car. I don't get the draw. It is cool.
It was super cool because like the box cover car was right there. Like the real
fantastic.
McCoy was sitting right there on the stage, and then you saw the box cover on the screen. Like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
Porsche makes some sweet cars.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, kind of like, Then we saw some gameplay demos.
Yeah.
Of the race. It felt like, and I know it probably wasn't it, but it might have been. It just felt like a pre-recorded, pre-rendered thing
I'm sure it was.
because there's no HUD, there's no nothing to indicate to you that they're actually playing.
Yeah, they were
and-
holding controllers though.
They were holding controllers. Yeah. And I texted you while we were watching it,
Mm-hmm.
sitting there, like, as they come up to a corner, they, like, slow down and don't hit the cars in front of them. I'm like, that's how you know they're not playing.
Well, no, not even
They're
that.
also
Like,
racers,
They're
though.
professional racers. Like, I totally believe that they were driving that at one point, not on stage. They recorded it. They did it 100 times and they did it. It was cool to bring in actual professional drivers, stunt car drivers. That was neat.
super
And
cool.
it shows you how you're supposed to play Forza Motorsports. That's the difference. And I think that's what bothers me about leading off with this in your conference. You come out of this awesome thing and then you show off a car game. Car games always look good. There's never.
Too.
When's the last time you've looked at a car game and thought, man, that looks like crap? It doesn't happen.
Crazy Taxi.
It just doesn't. I mean, and so they debut with that. Forza's a big name, great, but they didn't go with Horizon, right? Which we knew they weren't going to come out with that
Yeah,
anyways. 'cause
Horizon was out last time.
That just came out last time, but you come out with Motorsports, which is a very niche audience. Like, are you what's their end game here? Are they trying to expand who plays this game?
Yeah.
Because this is a driving simulator. This is what people buy wheels and pedals for. This is not something that I can pick up and enjoy in any way.
Yeah, they
I
play,
just don't like it,
what's it
personally.
called? HOTAS? Hand on throttle and stick?
Yeah.
So they actually, like, have thing, you play with a wheel and you play with a gear shift. Like, you play like you're sitting in a car.
Which is really cool
That's
if you
these
have the
people.
equipment for that. But this is not to pick up a controller and play. You can really get on. Some people love it. That's great. But you would think that to lead off their conference, to lead off the first footage you see from a Xbox One X, I was going to call it Scorpio because that's actually a good
Same
name.
diff.
You would think that they would get something that would appeal to everybody. And I
Yeah.
think realistic driving simulators, it's just not going to do it. That
agree.
being said, game looks really great.
Game
I'm sure
looks
it's going to be
phenomenal.
awesome.
Probably
if
won't
you-
get it. That's not my style. I would be more into the Horizon style of game. If you can't,
Yeah.
Forza Horizon, not Horizon Zero Dawn. It's probably obvious, but I would
Arcade. I like arcade drivers.
make that
which
distinction.
We'll
Yeah.
touch on it.
So next up, Metro Exodus. Releases 2018. No specific date. Not exclusive to not console exclusive to Xbox.
Yep.
So
PS4, Xbox One.
PS4, Xbox, Metro 2033, and Last Light were on PS4 as well.
Yep. They're originally on PS3.
They
They
were on
got
PS3.
remastered.
I played them on
for
PS. I played Last Light on PS3. I played Redux, and Last Light again. Or
It was 2033 and Last Light.
Redux was the
The redo
remastered package.
Yep.
Pack.
You're doing really good. You want to start over? You're just gonna. Oh man.
No, it looks awesome.
It
as soon
does.
as it like rolled in.
Yeah.
Like I saw the snow.
Mhm.
And then I was like, man, it looks like Metro. And then I saw the text pop up, and I texted James. I was like, Metro.
Yep.
Like,
Well, it's a very specific setting. The big thing with Metro here, and we're going to show you a little bit of gameplay and a little bit of the footage here that we got to see yesterday, the other day, the day that it happened, which would be probably yesterday.
June 11th, 2017.
There you go. That's important.
Sunday.
So just looking at the footage, it looks really good.
It looks
right?
really
They've always looked really good. They have a very specific environment. It's a lot of underground stuff, a lot of infection-based
Yeah, a
stuff.
lot of
You have like
tunnels.
O2 filters and things like that. You
Yeah,
gotta
it's
deal with.
post-apocalypse. Yeah, if you're out in the air, you have to pick up filters.
Yeah.
And it runs out, and your watch beeps and tells you how much time you have. So you got to switch out your filters, and your mask gets dirty. And if it's broken, you got to change it.
Yeah, I mean
It's very survival horror-ish.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, it's not, you don't always like pick up on it in some of the trailers and stuff, but it's very much a horror
Very
type
tense.
atmosphere, very tense. And so you see it in a trailer. They've got the really wild rabid dogs, and you've got the bear mole,
the giant
thing,
bear
the
mole thing.
mutation at the end. It just looks really cool. The big thing with these other games as they've come out over the years is, I mean, they're based on a Metro 2033 book series,
Yep.
which is really cool. And I want to read those books. I've heard they're really good. But really what it is the environment's fantastic. The story's really immersive. But the gameplay has always just been meh.
It's the same.
It's
Yeah,
a
you don't play
first-person
Metro
shooter.
for gameplay.
Like, it's good, but it's nothing revolutionary.
First-person shooter with less bullets.
Yeah,
'Cause You got
exactly.
to worry about. You got to do ammo management.
Yeah, so it's good. It's not. It's a good game. I think it'll be good, but it's that kind of game that scores 6s and 7s
Yep.
in reviews because it just doesn't do anything. It doesn't try to reinvent the wheel.
It's good. It has its audience, and that's what it's going to be.
Yep.
Up next, we had Assassin's Creed Origins.
It's true.
So set in Egyptian times. Did we get a release? Yep. October 27th, 2017 release date. We saw just some typical Assassin's Creed gameplay footage.
Yeah.
Our new guy is Bayek.
Bayek.
He's the last of the Magi, which is like an Egyptian sheriff. It's the foundation of the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Looks really good.
Oh yeah, the user
Like-
interface super slick. It's very modern looking, which is kind of funny because it's a very old setting.
Egypt.
One of the cool things you're seeing now is he was using like a hawk for like an Overwatch type thing, where
Yeah,
almost
using
like a scout.
drone.
That was really cool. That's not something that you see in Assassin's Creed games. I'm not a big Assassin's Creed game guy. I've just never really been it. So it's hard for me to tell like what's new and what's not. But I knew that was new as soon as I saw it.
I played one through Black Flag.
Mhm.
Didn't do Unity or Rogue. Didn't play any of the mobile games because
Right.
I don't need to.
Why would you?
I played through a good chunk of Syndicate until I just kind of like hit my limit with Assassin's Creed being Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
Just like how many times you run into a wall or jump to the wrong building or whatever that Assassin's Creed fans have been going on about. There's a bug in the room. Has been going on about since Assassin's Creed launched. You jump off a building, you fail a mission that you were like this close to perfecting because you get discovered or die.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things, which is the part that worries me after having watched this trailer. If you've been playing Assassin's Creed for any amount of time, you probably noticed as well. His run cycle looks the same. The climbing looks the same. The combat looks similar. Like all the things that have always been buggy looked exactly the same. It's like, man, you took a year off an annualized franchise.
Yeah.
So in annualized franchise terms, you had forever.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
true.
for it to look the same does not invoke confidence.
doesn't bode
in this
well.
next one. So I'm like, ugh.
I mean, we'll see. I'm really interested in the story. I think it could be fun. It's a very different setting than
Yeah.
we've had before. Even like the Victorian setting was really unique, but this is another level, right? He's climbing a pyramid in one of the shots like
Yeah.
that. If that's like the
is
tower mechanic, I don't know. I'm
Similar-ish
interested.
to like one.
Yeah.
One was set way back,
Right, that's true. That's
but
true. But
it's
that was
still
still,
different
like,
enough.
that was
like, it's
still
still-
Templar time.
Yeah, it was
period.
Templar times, so it was still like different enough, and I
Mm-hmm.
think this is gonna be cool. They have the leveling system that Syndicate had. I don't know if Unity had it,
Mhm.
but I know in Syndicate you had to be certain. You didn't have to be certain levels, but if you went to certain areas to play through the next part of the story,
Yeah.
so this is like a level 7 story. You're level 6. If you play this, it's gonna be really hard. Then once you hit level 7, you're like, boom, easy town. Just walk right through the level like you're supposed to.
Right.
I didn't like that because like I don't like the forced leveling because it's like forced exploration through Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
I will find my way around this place. Like I love Victorian England. It's one of my favorite settings, and I was like, I'm looking around this place already, but now you're forcing me to go do it, which makes me not want to do it.
Right.
Because I'm 6 years old.
Yeah, that's the concern. I personally like the idea of the leveling thing. Just gives you an idea of where people are at. But I don't like the idea of gating content behind, like you artificially going. And
that's what I don't like about it. I love having levels and leveling up. I just don't like it being behind stuff. They said they added some RPG elements, which is going to be cool, but we'll see on October 27th.
Yeah,
I probably won't pre-order this
RPG
game.
elements is always a concern for me.
I know that's just
People
odd.
Everyone's just got a different term for it.
Yep.
So
coming up next, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Late 2017 release date. This has been on PC for like a year in alpha.
Yeah, I think about a year now.
Basically, 100 people descend onto an island or location. So basically, you all load up in a plane, you pick your drop zone, and you jump out of the plane. You jump with nothing, and you fly into the world, and you start immediately scavenging for weapons and armor and backpacks and food and all this stuff to stay safe. And the game zone shrinks around you, bringing you all together, and the last person alive wins. It looks awesome, and I've wanted to play it since I've discovered it.
Right.
And now it's coming to Xbox. It is a launch exclusive.
Yeah.
So, which we're pretty sure means it launches on Xbox first, and then everywhere else later.
A timed exclusive.
Switch owners, I wouldn't look forward to this one.
I mean, it'll be on PC, so it looks really good. I've seen a lot of footage from PC players and friends that we have, so I'm interested in it. Obviously, Deep Rock Galactic. This one struck me as we were watching this. Xbox console exclusive. It looks like Minecraft, but with guns. Like it was
No, what this looks more like is the there's a game out on PC. It's called Astroneer.
Okay.
So you go to kind of similar to Minecraft as well. You go to a planet and you got to start getting minerals and building your base to upgrade your stuff to get further out, to get more minerals, to build your base, to get a spaceship, to get off the planet. It's super cool, and that's what I thought it was at first.
Okay.
I actually wrote that down. I was like, oh, it's Astroneer for consoles. And it's like, oh, it's actually not. It's Deep Rock Galactic.
So it looks cool. To me, it's like you see mining, you see like 4-player co-op, and then there was guns, and there was aliens and stuff. Like, that looks interesting to me. I would take a look at that.
Yep.
Does it sell an Xbox for me? No.
No. No release date. Is also a launch exclusive.
That's true. It'll eventually come.
So it'll eventually be on
places.
PS4. Based on the textures, it could also make it a Switch. But that could also have been like alpha gameplay.
You never know.
That's kind of where we're at in this kind of
I like the art style.
play anywhere world, where a lot of how alpha PC games are all just like super flat polygonal textures. So that's what some of these games looked like, and some of them do that because they're just in early development. Like, hey, this game's coming, just so you know.
Yeah.
And then
But some of it is like, no, this is the art style we want.
Some of it's the art style.
So.
Speaking of some of it's the art style, State of Decay 2, spring 2018. Xbox PC exclusive, so this is not a launch exclusive. This is exclusive to Xbox One and Windows 10. Third-person zombie survival game. Is not as actiony as the trailer would have you believe.
Yeah, there's a lot of
shooting and killing. What a lot of the game is like surviving in ammo conservation.
Yep.
Pretty sure State of Decay 1 was permadeath. So you die. You die, and that character stays dead. You spawn in as the next character in your base or whatever, and you can go find that character, pick up their stuff, if I'm understanding it correctly. If I'm not right, put it in the comments below. Let me know. I'd love to learn. Didn't look impressive, and at first I based that on, okay, it's an early trailer maybe, and then watching some of the recaps of it, a guy that's a big State of Decay fan was like, nope, that's what State of Decay looks like. He was mentioning he kind of hoped with the canceling of things like I forget one of the exclusives they canceled, Scalebound. That hopefully some of the money would get shuffled over to the State of Decay team and it would look better, but nope. So this looks better than State of Decay 1.
It's true. It's not super impressive. I don't know. There was nothing that stuck out to me. I did like the idea of the decisions in it, like choosing to be able to save someone versus
save someone or kill them,
and knowing it's kind of an MMO in that state of things. So it's a unique concept, but I didn't see many differences from before. I'm not really interested in it. It's not my kind of game. So.
Me neither.
All right, what's next?
The Darwin Project. This looks similar to like an Overwatch. It's a kind of esports kind of here's a group of people, last one alive wins. This was kind of weird seeing it. What is this? 2 games after PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, which is essentially the same thing but different.
This was much
and
smaller.
Darwin Project looks like you spawn into a smaller map with all your stuff. So you spawn in as a class.
It's third person
shooter. Very much more kind of cartoony looking.
It looks cool.
It was shown with like a shoutcaster.
Yeah. Yeah, which is cool. They've tried to push Mixer. It's the streaming platform that comes with Windows 10 that everyone's got access to.
I've heard it's kind of cool.
It is cool. And so there was interactivity. So in that clip, they showed that right before the guy died, he was able to throw up a force field because somebody from Mixer, they voted for it basically and were able to do it. So they've talked about doing interactivity in other platforms before, and you've seen it in small scales, but Mixer has better opportunities for it. It's really cool. Mixer has to take the time to catch on. You're competing with Twitch and YouTube and big services out there. So
good luck to you, Mixer. I heard the UI on Mixer is actually pretty slick and works better than others. So I'd be interested in checking it out.
I would hope so. It's built into Windows, so it needs to be good.
Minecraft, uniting all consoles. I think we saw something about this last year.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. We've heard about it before, but so it's. I didn't write it here, but the only two consoles that aren't included, can you guess?
PlayStation.
PS4 and the Wii U. But so the Switch is included.
I was wondering.
All the mobile platforms are included.
Because they said consoles, and I was like, well, they didn't show. They showed a Switch.
I just assumed they didn't show it because they were being petty.
Yeah, well, because it's Microsoft. Like you can't show your competitor's console at your conference.
But you can sell the Switch.
No matter
okay.
what.
You can just show the Switch.
Which is not a competitor with Xbox, especially with the One X. But community-run servers, crossplay with most platforms. 4K update coming in fall 2017. That if you already own it, you get.
Yeah, it seemed free from what I gathered.
That's what it looks like. They have what they're calling the super duper graphics pack, which is like dope lighting effects, and the water looks cool, and the textures are awesome. Which I'm pretty sure is already like a community-made mod. On PC. Yeah. It's like the natural or something really cool looking.
But they're opening up like a community store. At least that's kind of what I gathered, for some mods and things like that.
It's pretty cool. It might convince me to buy the Minecraft on Switch.
I might actually. My wife asked me about it, if we could buy it on the Switch now. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Since I own it on my other consoles.
Cross-platform. Since it sucks that my question is, where did the cross-platform drop come from? Is it Sony saying no? Is it Microsoft saying no? Or is it Mojang saying
it's gotta be, dude? It's gotta be Sony at this point, because we've had that problem with
Rocket
League.
Yep.
It was Sony was like, no, we don't want to open up our stuff.
Yeah.
Like, man, why not? Because the rest of us want to play with our friends on Xbox.
So, somebody brought up a good point. They said Xbox or Microsoft did the same thing last generation, right? Because they were winning. They didn't want to help out PlayStation. So now things are flipped. Maybe that's the case. Things sucks.
Are gonna even out.
I wish it would just. I could just do it on my
Shuhei Yoshida, please let this work.
Yeah,
please. No, it looks super cool. I'll probably buy it. I have Minecraft on my computer, PS3, PS4. I think I actually own it for my iPad as well, and so I'll probably get it for my Switch.
Yeah.
I've just bought it over all those platforms at different points of time because it's $20.
Yeah,
it's like cool. I'll buy it.
It's a kicker.
Next, Dragon Ball FighterZ. It's a fighting game. It's Dragon Ball Z. It looks pretty cool.
It does. The big thing with Dragon Ball is their fighting games are always so. There's such a wide range of things,
like hyper stylized.
But a lot of them are like hyper stylized. But then it's like taking place in like X, Y, and Z axes, and it's really hard to.
It's X, Y, and Z, but not 3D.
Yeah, it's weird. And so this one seemed much more like a 2D. Like you can jump back and forth, but it's not flying around in the air all zigzaggy. Like it seems a little more reined in, and it is like picture for picture exactly like the Dragon Ball Z anime that we all know and love. Right? It was the same animations. It was. But I mean, it was the same like characters, and it's not stuff that we don't know. This is the game I think that Dragon Ball Z could really use to like invest people into their genre outside of a niche. It looks cool.
Exactly. I never really got to watch Dragon Ball as a kid.
Love Dragon Ball
and I never
Z.
really had time to watch it.
I watched
college
it with
when all
my
my other
dad.
friends were doing it.
My dad would come home and we'd watch it off of Cartoon Network.
No, my parents were not fans of the anime.
Awesome.
So
My mom
Pokemon,
didn't
Yu-Gi-Oh,
like it,
Dragon Ball,
right? That was all evil. Right?
was not allowed in my home. Okay, Black Desert.
Early 2018 for Dragon Ball Z. In case we didn't mention that.
Oh yes, early 2018. Also early 2018. Black Desert, Xbox console exclusive. So it also means Xbox, Windows 10. Just, I'm sure I've said it before. That's how it is.
We're saying again.
It's an MMORPG. Big open world, super dark looking. Kind of plays into a little bit more of the if I'm thinking of the right game, it's kind of that more Japanese art style looking, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. It's very
looks a little bit like Nier.
Nier. Okay, I could see that. The combat itself is very like I felt like just watching it, my controller was vibrating. I didn't have one in my hand. Like it was awesome. I loved like that heavy style of hitting.
It looked kind of like Dark Souls.
Yeah,
I saw one enemy. I'll point it out. One enemy looked like Dark Souls because he had this huge. The player had this huge sword, and the other enemy was kind of lumbering towards him. and he just whips around and like hits him, and you heard the chunk, you saw the frame jitter like it's supposed to, and then splash of blood falls on the floor. I'm like, that looks like Dark Souls.
Yeah, it the combat when they were actually going heavy into it, it kind of felt a little bit like God of War, like that frantic ton of attacks, like very heavy sensation to it. I'm really interested in it. It stinks that it's console exclusive to Xbox. It's not a launch exclusive.
Good news, we're building that computer.
Yeah,
so you don't need to buy an Xbox.
I'm interested. It's weird for an MMO to not be on multiple platforms. That bothers me a bit. That feels kind of like counterintuitive, but
this one's probably one of those that leans more towards the PC players.
It might be worth
the Xbox.
It might be worth getting an Xbox for. I don't know.
It's hard to still have a computer.
That's true. Good point.
The Last Night. This is also console exclusive. Super cool, like 8-bit.
Dude, this blew my mind.
It's like a huge. There's a lot of like foreground stuff, so really cool parallaxing effect, and it was like 2.5D sort of, but not as gimmicky as 2.5D, because you can walk like forward and backwards in it, but it doesn't feel like you're jumping planes forward and backwards. Like it's just like you move smoothly forward and backwards in the frame.
It was interesting because there were elements that were in that 8-bit style, but then there were elements that were like perfectly smooth and clear. And so like the rain in it was unbelievable looking. And
so
it's just
cool.
So you guys have to check that out.
It's a really cool blend. There's no release date for it. It looks super indie, but it's awesome.
Yeah, that one was interesting to me.
The Artful Escape.
I love the tag on this. Like when they finished The Artful Escape, I don't even care about the game, but they like under where it would normally say that, like when it was coming, it said coming when it's damn ready. That's funny to me. Like it's
that's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah, music based 2D side scroller.
I saw a lot of 2D side scrollers today.
There's a ton of 2D side scrollers.
I was surprised. The art style is unique. It's in Little Big Planet, like the animations of the characters and stuff in the world you see look like paper, like attached by like paper clips. That was the art style.
Oh, sorry. I moved on to the next game real quick. Sorry, I just had an epiphany. Code Vein.
All right.
This is the one I was thinking of.
Okay.
This is the super like anime looking Dark Souls heavy combat looking thing.
The other one's still Dark Souls. It's all the same stuff.
Yeah, I've got to. I'm gonna look this up just quick.
Yeah, so Code Vein looked interesting.
It did, a little bit.
I thought it was at first. We saw a trailer last week for Vampire.
Okay,
I thought it was going to be the way that it.
Right on.
The way that it showed up, but the art style in this game, we're going to talk about art style a lot because I like art style and I like being able to see different things. And this was a very unique thing.
I mean, art style is what you look at the most in games.
Yeah, it's just something I like to focus on.
Whether you know you're looking at it or not.
Yeah,
like the character design, the world design.
This
the
one really felt
part
like
of the art
Dark
style.
Souls, though. It certainly seemed
super
like
heavy. This is what I was thinking of.
The name
and after
of
looking
it
at the
is
pictures
weird.
for Black Desert, no wonder I got it confused.
Yeah, it's basically the same.
All right. This is coming in 2018. The next one, Sea of Thieves.
We have made fun of this before.
We have.
I stand corrected.
Probably make fun of it a little bit again, but it still looks
really way cool. Better than I thought it would.
It looks like a true, like, you're a pirate, you captain a ship,
go pirate things,
and you go be piratey. Mm-hmm. You can go out in the world, you can dive for treasure, you can attack other ships, you command your crew, It's just super cool.
It's 4-player co-op is what they were showing us. I don't know if it was limited to 4 players or what. It was all. It kind of looks like an MMO. I'm gonna guess that's the assumption behind it, right? Probably not a split screen. It doesn't seem like a split screen kind of game.
No.
But like I said, open world. It showed us navigating on our ship. It showed us diving underwater, like actually carrying treasure chests and requiring teamwork. Because when you're carrying the treasure chest, you can't do anything because you have a treasure chest in your hands. So there's a loot aspect to it.
True.
Finding an old wrecked ship under seas and looking at that.
Yeah, you like pick up cannonballs because like I would assume you have to keep your ammo stocked.
Oh yeah.
There's a shark underneath the water trying to get you.
Mm-hmm.
It's super cool, guys. You go look up the gameplay demo from it. The narrator's really good.
Yeah, we'll toss links to the gameplay demos of the ones featured in our video, so you can go see the whole thing on those.
Yeah.
But so what I was really kind of surprised at, and maybe it wasn't because I just don't read enough about the game, but like when he was just like chilling on the boat and then he just comes out and all of a sudden there's a cannonball like right in his ship, and then he comes up and there's another ship firing at him, and so then he gets to take time like combating with them and going and grabbing cannonballs and reloading, and then he just says screw it and then just gets in the cannon and shoots himself over and then goes in and murders everybody over there. Like that's a really cool thing. And then he at the end of the trailer, he jumps off the bow of the boat and then just completely misses his and just sinks and then eaten by a shark.
Boat flies.
It's awesome.
It's super cool.
It was the narration on it was really good, and I wish I knew who the guy was that
Man,
narrated
if you watch
it.
that trailer and you know who narrated it, please tell us real quick.
Comment below, let us know.
We may need to pause this, come back to it later because it's time for Bethesda.
Ooh, that's true.
So quick pause. You're gonna see a jump in the thing, but we will be right back.
Yeah,
Bam! We're back. See, it was like time never even passed.
that was amazing.
If we look more tired, ignore it.
All right,
So next we're on to Tacoma.
you got it, man.
Tacoma. I don't know anything about Tacoma.
Looked weird.
AR space interaction, kind of
It's weird.
something.
I don't know.
Not my style. August 2nd, Xbox Windows 10 exclusive.
It's super indie. I was surprised it wasn't during the ID at Xbox part.
Yeah. Next, Super Lucky's Tale.
Mm.
Xbox PC exclusive. Third. 3D.
Sorry, I should have capitalized the
71th.
D. I realize. in my
Always
notes.
capitalize the D.
Always capitalize the D. Get the big
3D
D.
cartoon platformer out November 7th. Really just like cute animation game.
It's super cute. It seems kid focused. It's
Very
a
much
weird
so.
one to like launch on the launch of Xbox One X.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems nice.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's a platformer. Don't
Again,
get too excited.
Yep. Not a head turner, really. Cuphead, Xbox PC exclusive out September 29th. Super old timey. You probably seen it before.
Side-scrolling platform. Side-scrolling platform? It's more
Yep.
just a 2D side-scroller.
Yeah, it's 2D side scroller.
The interesting thing here, and we're showing you a little clip now, is it looks like a 50s Disney cartoon, right? Like with they're waddling
Very
and
much
squatting
like
back and forth.
Steamboat Willie. Felix the
Yeah,
cat.
that's the thing. It's interesting. It's an interesting concept. I like that it's got like that grainy film effect on it. It seems really
super
cool.
old record player.
I would-
gramophone soundtrack.
I would definitely play this on my PC. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's probably one of those that's not going to be super resource intensive. I think you can pull it off
Yeah.
on just anything. So I'd love to play it. It looks super cool.
I
I'm
can chug your
curious if it's going to be as racist as the old Disney cartoons were. That's my question.
Probably not.
I would think not, but
Because while it looks old, it does not give it permission to be racist
true.
like it is old. Crackdown 3, Xbox P3. Happy P3 week.
oh,
Xbox PC exclusive again. Terry Crews looks like he's going to be a voice actor, or he's just heavily
it's-
involved in the game.
I don't know, like, because when they launched it, I wanted to put this in. When we were making this video, I was thinking, like, what are we gonna put in this? I'm like, I want Terry Crews right here because it was so freaking weird,
Yeah.
but it was cool because it's Terry
pretty
Crews
awesome.
and he's awesome. But it's weird because it's been a while since we've seen like live action person with CGI background that was clearly like different places, right? Like it was not. It was probably edited to look that way on purpose,
Yeah.
but he was like superimposed on a fake background. It was interesting, and it looked like they put his likeness in the game. It
Kinda
just
looked
it was
like
a
it.
weird transition. I don't know.
He jumped off the building and then it turned into a character running that kind of looked like him, but could also easily not be him if you'd never seen him.
Right.
Third person parkour shooter, maybe some co-op elements, probably
Yeah,
online co-op elements.
Yeah, it looked interesting. I've never played the Crackdowns. We're not Xbox people, so we
Nope.
don't know. People are excited about it because it's it's the third game. It's been years since we've really talked about Crackdown.
Yeah.
It looks cool. There's
does
nothing
look
that
pretty
really
neat.
stood out to me. I like the parkour elements. You don't see that often. With a third person parkour is unique.
Yeah.
A lot of times you see first person like with Dying Light or with Mirror's Edge, but third person parkour, being a shooter, explosions. It was action heavy.
Yeah.
Quick little trailer. Very interesting. Check
see.
down below
November
for the link
7th.
for the full trailer of that.
Next up, we had a trailer of like 15 games for ID at Xbox. Bunch of small indie games, really cool looking. Some of them. There's a Fable card game in there.
Yeah, so what all the Fable fans were waiting for is another card game.
Yep, exactly what we all wanted. So thanks for
No,
that.
it's a great program. It gets people out there. There's some developers probably complain about it, but
I'm sure they do.
they've launched.
That's okay.
They've announced it during the E3 press conference, but they said that ID at Xbox has reached the 500 game mark. It's a cool little milestone for them. Whether or not it's good or bad for developers in whatever way, it's still really cool. It's a program that didn't exist before that exists now and gives developers and platforms an option that wasn't there before. So
Good to stand on.
it's really cool.
Ashen, Xbox PC exclusive. Super dark, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah, it was a Dark Souls type atmosphere.
Really gray.
It's the art style was. It was just a lot of smooth. If I remember right, the faces on some of the characters just weren't
that
there.
one super minimal.
Yeah,
Like they didn't have fingers; they had like mitten hands.
yeah. So I'm guessing that's
interesting.
intentional.
Yeah. Boy, I hope
Third person. There was nothing else about it. We didn't see much about it. Xbox/PC exclusive, so we don't
so.
know.
As always, no release date.
Weird. It just was kind of, I don't know. Nothing really struck me about it.
Yep. Life is Strange Before the Storm. Similar to the first one.
Yeah.
Not exclusive. Will be on other consoles as well. First episode releases on August 31st.
Pretty quick turnaround.
If you want to see what Life is Strange is like, you can check out on our channel our initial reactions to it. We just posted
First one.
a couple days ago the reaction to the first episode of the first Life is Strange.
Yep. It is very interesting, like just the way they did the trailer. Like I've only played Life is Strange for like 20 minutes, and I knew as soon as I saw her turn around, I was like, "That's Life is Strange." It was cool. It's just so
The same art
with
style?
story-based game, same art style. It
I'm
seems
interested.
like a really cool focus.
Story of Life is Strange looks really
Done.
interesting.
I'm excited.
Next, something we're both really excited for:
Woo!
Shadow of War.
Boy.
Oh my goodness, not console exclusive. Thank the Lord. 'Cause
Goodness.
I love me playing this on some PlayStation.
Good.
Releases October 10th.
Yep. Mark your calendars.
Mark your calendar.
We will have a video on October 11th.
probably. We might even have one on the night of October 10th, but don't hold your breath.
Boom. It will be low produced quality.
It may be 3 minutes.
Exported in 480p.
It's just us like running around like, yay!
Holding the copy over our heads outside
We
the
got
Walmart.
some more gameplay of some of the stuff we've seen before. Some more expanding on the Nemesis system a little bit. It looks like they have classes for the enemies now.
Yep.
So we saw one of the guys we fought is subtitled Warmonger Tank.
Mhm.
So in this game, you can build your army to take on fortresses. So it looks like you want to build your army of well-balanced people. You need tanks and ranged, and then warriors, whatever. Like you want to balance your team out before you go take on a fortress.
Yeah, it's building up your team. It's I really love it. It's there's very similar aspects obviously from the first game. There's this gladiator battle between two guys that have this really cool clips back and forth. The facial animations are on point.
Look really good.
It's impressive. In the first game they were good, but not like impressive. In this one they were really good. I get this is a vertical slice of a game. It's very particular, but if the rest of the game looks like that, like
I'll be happy.
ooh boy, it looked good. The script for it was funny. Again,
It was really fun.
probably the story based. I'm guessing that the random encounters won't be as funny as crap like that. That was really good. It was
Probably
just
be
really
very,
well done. It's very pretty.
Canned a little bit. In
You're gonna
Shadow
have
of Mordor,
some
there was
recycled
like
stuff.
some guys repeated some stuff, and it was kind of like, yeah,
Imagine
I get
there will
it,
be
whatever.
more dialogue for it, so it'll be less repetition. But it's just really cool. There is a very much a personal connection, I think, with your captains and chiefs. Like when you brand them right and turn them over, you just I don't know. It's
They
not
don't
just
just turn into like mindless zombies.
right, and that's the key. I think that the first game was kind of lacking a little bit. It's one of those things you don't notice until you see the other option. You're like, oh, that is much better. I like that option, right? And having him interact with you, he says something like, "Oh, I'd light the bright lord, the dark lord. What does it really matter? I'm going to break guys' spines anyways. Who cares who does it? Who I'm doing it for?" So it's cool because it's not just like forcing them to comply, but it's actually changing their mind and getting them on your side. And so it's cool. There's a little bit of a bond for them.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm excited for it.
Mhm.
It pretty much speaks for itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's
So
and
if you like Shadow of Mordor, you'll like Shadow of War.
I like that they finally gave us a little bit of a picture of gameplay outside of the forts, right? Outside of the big old war things, because we've been hearing a lot about that because that's the new thing. But we got to see a little bit more of the open world, a little bit more of the interaction
Just
and
a
stuff.
touch.
So I mean, I think that's okay. I think we're on a good marketing path. In another couple of weeks, we'll probably see something for more of the open world thing. Because if it's all just like fighting these huge battles, like that's not super
really
what I
fun.
want. Like there's got to be other things. But October 10th, boom, excited. It is a play anywhere title for those of you on Xbox or PC, which is
there you
pretty cool. So
Play it anywhere.
there you go.
Moving on, Ori and the Will of the Wisps. So follow up to Ori and the Blind Forest, which I heard was great. I didn't get a chance to play because I don't have an Xbox.
Right. That makes sense.
Again, Xbox PC exclusive.
Mhm.
Cool reveal for it. They had a piano player on stage. They had the composer on stage playing the music along with it, and it was really touching. And I heard Ori was just like a really emotional game and super good story, and
Similar like Journey and stuff like that.
yeah, very similar, but a little bit more puzzle and gameplay heavy. Ori was actually kind of difficult, from what I've heard.
I'm assuming it was a 2D side scroll. They didn't show a lot. I
little
don't know if that's what it was really
I
hard
think it
to
equated
see.
more to like a brighter, more colorful Limbo.
Okay. All right.
I think.
So
Could be totally wrong.
seems
Correct us in
nice.
the comments below if we are.
there was almost no gameplay. It was all just environment
much,
kind of setting
yeah.
it up. There was literally no release date, like no year,
Yeah.
no month, nothing.
So it's being worked on.
Yep.
Next thing they announced was backward compatibility. They're reaching further back.
It seems weird,
It
but
is a little bit weird. They have a library of 385 games already right now, going back to the Xbox 360.
Mhm.
But Phil Spencer comes out. He's like, "We heard you guys. We wanted to do what you wanted to do," and it pops up with the original like Xbox logo.
Yep.
It was really cool. He said that cool like blob, just womp. And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome. We're going back to original Xbox." Launches later this year. If you have Gears of War 4,
Forza Horizon 3, Killer Instinct, Halo Wars 2, they all already have Xbox One X enhancements ready. There's more coming for free. They said there was about 30 titles.
Yep.
PS4 Pro, when it launched, there was about 40 titles that were having the enhancements. So it's about the same. I would say it's probably a wash at that point. It's just the games you're already playing on your Xbox, you're going to probably have enhancements for it. That's the end of the game.
They
That's
said everything that was backwards
it's gonna
compatible
be.
is going to look better on the Xbox One.
Yep.
Which you would expect. So cool if you're using the backwards compatibility function. It's kind of fun for some of the older games, but
it just depends. I mean, it's a personal preference. I don't really have a desire to play games from my PS2. I just don't.
not really.
They don't look good.
If I do, I have my PS2.
Yeah,
still.
if I really want to. I
really want to.
It's
yeah.
good. If that's what people want, then they give that. That's great. I wish Sony would give us that option, and they do some with like the PS1 classics and the PS2 remasters and PlayStation Now. Xbox system just seems a little bit better for it.
It does.
I wish it
seems
was
like
more unified.
well, Xbox just isn't as old
Yeah,
at a certain point. So it's
That's
like
true.
going back to. I mean, think original Xbox is Halo.
is PlayStation 2.
Yeah. So it's just like going back to PlayStation
That's
2.
true.
So going back that far, yeah, that's a topic for a different time. We already talked about pricing. Xbox One S 250 from June 11th to June 17th, 500 gigabytes. The 1 terabyte is 300. Xbox One X is going to be 500 when it launches.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
For reference, PS4 Pro did launch at 400, in case you're really curious about that.
Yeah.
The Xbox One is temporary, so after the 17th, it's going to go back up to 300 for the 500 gig, 350 for the 1 terabyte. So if you want to get it,
If you've been waiting,
now's the time to get it. It's a great time to get into
pull the
it.
trigger.
There is no reason to go for anything other than Xbox One S. It's a great deal. I would get it.
It's a great console.
Like, it's got good stuff for
I
it.
would get it if I just hadn't bought a Switch.
That's true. I still would prefer the Switch.
Me too.
So that's a really good one.
So EA's new IP. We've been waiting for this since we saw this yesterday. Anthem. Very much
So
EA's
excited.
response to Destiny, and it looks phenomenal.
Oh, it does.
Facial anime. It's BioWare's new game. It's the BioWare team that did Mass Effect 1 and 2.
Yep.
Right?
Mhm.
Not the team that did Andromeda. Not that it really matters.
A lot of the people have
Different
changed hands.
drama.
But we're talking about
Who cares?
BioWare versus BioWare Edmonton, which
Yeah.
Edmonton did Andromeda. Facial animations. We're starting the video right here with facial animations. Look, that looks amazing. Again, vertical slice of the game.
Probably running on a really good PC.
Yeah, but that's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Like,
it looks fantastic.
It looks unbelievable. So you've got that already going for you out of the box. I think it was super intentional that BioWare was like, all right, we're going to start this big reveal of a new IP, brand new everything. Everyone's been rumored about it. Maybe it's going to be something Star Wars related. It's not. And so they slam us right there with facial animations. I think that was super important for them to be like, look, let's put Andromeda behind us.
Yeah.
I like that.
That was a good idea. So you start, the guy's talking to you, so you hop in your exosuit, one of the many exosuits that you can have.
I don't know if it's 2 or 4. We saw 2.
Exosuits look like they're going to be your classes.
Mhm.
So she jumped in her ranger.
That sounds
question
right.
mark? And the guy she's talking to jumped into his heavy, or
I
I want to call it a Titan, but I know it's not it.
It's not it. We just have to look it up.
It's his big one.
Check
And
out the
so
trailer if you really want
You
to
walk out into your little start area, and he falls down out of the sky, and then you look out over this giant world, and you jump.
It's huge depth to
Yeah,
it.
you jump down and start falling into the woods, and then you just hit a button, I'm assuming, and start flying. And you fly around the world to where you want to go. You can fly up in the sky, you can fly down into the water. You see enemies there, you're like, let's not mess with them. And you go around them, and you see these other small enemies, and you're like, all right, let's take them out. And he launches a mortar, and you drop a bunch of missiles, and it looks super cool. And they talk about the different suits you can have, which are like different classes, and
Modifications to your suits.
modifications to your
things like
suits, unique weapons you pick up throughout the
that.
game.
Yeah,
And it's
named
like,
weapons.
At that point, like named unique weapons sounds like other games that we love. It's just like, oh, this is gonna be really cool.
Yeah, my concern is, I mean, it's you never know. Like, how much is this a vertical slice? And the forced dialogue, like from two people, like you could tell, like this was like when we first saw The Division, right? That forced dialogue of walking into a scenario, and you got 2 or 3 people that have clearly like have a script and rehearsing exactly what to say. This is not going to be your typical experience, but I love the transition from home base to the open world that you've got, right? Because it's clearly open world. as they're walking through in the full trailer, you guys can see they've got this exploration like discovery bonus, right? So you get certain points. We're like, oh, you discovered this new area, and this girl's like, hey, do you want to go do this? Like, oh no, I'm gonna do this later with Kim, and you're like, oh no, what you need it now because you're really low on XP or something.
Yeah, it's like you need the XP,
and so it's cool.
Like,
so that is a conversation that I would probably have, just not nearly as professional and much more raspy. Like, boy, you need it,
just like that.
Hype, let's go 420, blaze it.
This whole like podcast persona, it's all a sham.
Yeah, it looks cool. It does really seem like the Destiny answer,
it's like Destiny meets
which is perfectly fine to
Division
me
at a certain point.
It's
like in a beautiful way.
I like it. It's the way that they had the drop pickup. Just the UI with it was really cool. It like open up and then it gave you a few seconds and it like basically opened the pack for you and showed you what you got right there. And I'm gonna pull up another menu. Maybe that sticks, maybe that doesn't. You never know with something like this. That was probably alpha gameplay. The UI is probably gonna change, but it's just really slick and just the movement throughout it, and it's all third person, whereas Destiny is first person for most of it.
Third person when you're in public areas.
I don't know. It's hard to trust EA. But with some stuff that we cover later in their conference, and with something like Anthem, things are looking up for EA.
Yeah.
And you guys can catch more of our thoughts on EA on our video.
Next video.
On our next video. The video that we have parallel to this is going to be our EA video. Just talks a little bit about what we think about what they're doing. They're turning the corner. That's the end game here, right? That's the concern with EA has always been like the DLC and the microtransactions and stuff. And Anthem definitely seems like an opportunity for them to do something besides sports and DLC.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for it.
I think it's going to be really cool. Mm-hmm. So, James, what are your overall thoughts on
Xbox's
conference?
There were impressive parts. I definitely went in expecting them to just load me up with Scorpio Xbox One X talk, right? Talk about 4K and how they're going to do native 4K and everything. It's going to be awesome and wonderful. So much better than the PlayStation. And they did. I mean, that's what they did. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what they should do.
They didn't like overtly come out like, we're better than PlayStation.
But come on, it was implied.
It's pointed.
And I don't think that's a bad thing.
I don't begrudge them for that one bit.
They have the better hardware, and there's no denying that.
Yeah.
They had an extra year to do it. That you're paying more for it, and you're going to get better stuff for it. That's all well and good, and I don't think that's wrong. They showcased what you can do with it. My problem is I've got two problems with it. So the launch exclusive stuff. Almost everything you saw in their conference today that was exclusive, right? Because there's some things you saw that weren't exclusive.
Yeah.
They were launch exclusive, right? There's a few titles that weren't. Most of them were. And what those are, from what we understand, is just time
trials. It's like Tomb Raider. And Tomb Raider came out on Xbox One, and a year later came out on PS4.
And I think, and I can't imagine that all of them are going to be a year long. I imagine some of them might be a couple months. But it sucks. I think that system sucks. It sucks for everybody. It sucks for PlayStation people. It sucks for Xbox owners. It sucks for the developers. Because, they may have gotten a bit of boost of money from Microsoft to give them exclusivity. But I personally won't buy those games, probably out of principle. Because it's deceptive practices, and I don't think it's right. Because it's just give us the game. Like, what's the point of
if you're going to give it to us anyways? Why hold out?
I mean, it feels like a net neutrality discussion in games, right? We're talking about like limiting these certain things to people that pay more because they can afford to pay that.
I would rather if you're going to do time exclusive, don't go to any other platform.
And I don't necessarily blame the developers for it because they get offered extra money for it. It's on Microsoft's shoulders. Like they have this awesome new console, right? The Xbox One S is doing great. They've got the Xbox One X coming out. They're making good progress from the issues that they had with the Xbox One. But then they just go and alienate people. And so Rise of the Tomb Raider, for example, the first like major timed exclusive we had, I'm not playing. I'm not going to play. It's not going to happen. The game was great. It was an improvement over the Tomb Raider from everything that I've heard.
I wanted to play that game.
But I'm not going to play it because it's a principle thing for me. And I get that my vote doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's timed exclusives we have on the PlayStation that I'm sure we've been hypocritic in our own way.
Oh, yeah. But Destiny. Destiny had content that came out on PlayStation first, still isn't released on Destiny. And I also don't like that. I just don't like it. And to have whole games sectioned off like that, it sucks. And I don't think it's fair, and I don't think it's right to the consumer. And so I know that my $60 is not going to matter to anybody.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Vote with your wallet. That's the thing. If we want to talk about changing games, you vote with your wallet. Like, oh, I don't like the way they did this. Here's my $60.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, if you don't like the way they did it, as much as you want to play that thing, don't buy it.
So I'm interested to see how it sorts out. We're really interested in Sony's conference, obviously, because we're Sony guys. Is Sony going to have stuff like that? I don't think so. They've never had stuff
Okay.
like that. I would rather just console. If you're going to do exclusive, always exclusive. Don't eventually bring it to another platform. So we'll see. I can't imagine Sony does the same thing, but maybe they will. Maybe they'll surprise me. And it just sucks because it's good games that should be available everywhere that aren't, and it hurts. It hurts everybody. There's no one that wins from this except the greedy corporations, and it just really bugs me. So that's one thing. That's one thing.
Yeah.
And then the second one is just kind of a broad thing. There was no title I saw yesterday that makes me think I need an Xbox.
Same.
Anything that was really good was also on PC.
Yep.
And I'm not going to get into Xbox like console versus PC war discussion, right? Because the price point is way different.
Yep. The price point, the upkeep. PC is a different monster.
It is. But there was nothing that sold me on the Xbox One X. Just like with PS4 Pro, I'm not doing this just because it's Xbox, right? I feel the same way about the PS4
We still
Pro.
have PS4s. You still have a launched PS4.
Yeah, there's no reason to get these upgraded versions if you already have something.
Yep.
Right. And with the PS4 Pro, I could kind of see it because the price point was similar, 400 versus 300, which is now 250. But the Xbox One X right now is literally twice the price of the Xbox One S. All you're getting is 4K gaming.
Yep.
Everything else is the same. Everything else. I don't care about the size of it. That's stupid.
I'm not hurting for size on my TV stand.
Yeah. So that's the concern for me is there's just nothing here that screamed console exclusive that I need to have. There are cool games. The MMO, Black Forest looked really cool. Black Desert. That looked really cool. Sea of Thieves looks really neat.
Yep.
That one's
Those are pretty neat.
Yeah. That one honestly might sell an Xbox for me.
Yeah.
Down the road with a bundle, lots of stuff in it. But I just didn't see anything that convinced me that Xbox is the platform to be on.
It's one of those things, like, if you've got the money and you really care about it, same thing with the PS4 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you were at the point where, like, I'm looking to get into PS4 and the Pro came out, like, dope, jump on the Pro. Like, you'll be that step ahead. You'll have the graphical fidelity that you want. If you're looking to get a 4K TV, then you'll already be set up. Can probably go the same way with the Xbox. Just know that it is $500.
Yeah.
I know, like, $100 may not be that big of a deal. But just a lot of
It's a big
gamers out there, it
difference.
is.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if you look between
huge.
well, if you compare the two, the PS4 Pro versus the Xbox One, hardware's there, but the games, they're not there yet. And
Sure.
we're not going to say
Yet.
that the launch titles for Xbox One X are not great because PS4 Pro didn't have a ton of specific games for launch.
Did not.
They upgraded a bunch of games and had a couple launch games. That's what they had. That's fine. Same thing Xbox is doing. It's just the price difference. And you can't blame Microsoft because the hardware they put into it, they have to sell it at that.
Yeah.
They can't do 400. So it's just that risk versus reward thing. So are people going to pay $500 to experience console games at 4K? Like, is that
Absolutely, they will.
going to think like but it just depends. Like how much are we going to see? Like, is it going to be
I don't know.
a higher adoption rate than PS4 Pro? Like, only time's going to tell if this was a good idea. They couldn't release it cheaper.
Yeah.
Because trust me, they would have. They're already going to sell those loss.
I wonder how many Xbox One S's this sells.
Yeah.
So you're like, all right, here's the X. And somebody was sitting there waiting like, all right, I'm looking to upgrade from the 360 or I'm looking to get out of the PlayStation market or just add to my console family.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm going to wait for the Scorpio announcement because I'm not like rushing to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Xbox One X comes out, $500, like, okay, can't really do that.
It's too much.
But the S is cheaper right now. So I'll go ahead and get the S and I'll be perfectly happy with it.
Yeah, I'm kind of
So the S is not a bad decision.
No, it's
and
not.
the X
It's
is
very
not necessarily a better one.
Yeah, so right now, just the only games like confirmed, and you guys can correct us if we're wrong, but for launch are Super Lucky's Tale, Crackdown 3. We've got other games getting upgrades around that time, but not a huge name launch. A lot of the stuff they showed today
Put
was
the backwards compatibility
was
out. at the same time.
2018.
Yeah.
There was some stuff for this year, but nothing super impressive. We didn't hear anything about the ID at Xbox games in terms of release dates, but not a lot of stuff this year. Considering other conferences, we've seen different things like that.
Yeah.
This is a big conference. Sony's probably going to be the same way. I don't expect a lot out of Sony that says this year. So I'm not bashing on Microsoft, just giving you guys the facts. So
What we like to do. Well, guys, that's going to wrap up our Xbox portion of E3 this week. Be sure to check back every day for content, whether it's going to be E3 or just kind of a regular content. If you are new to the channel, we do put out content 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Let's Plays 4 of those days, podcast 1 of those days. But thanks for hanging out.
Yep. Bye.